All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us to CNN News 18. Of course, we're getting you breaking news right now. What we're tracking, Mark Tully, veteran journalist, author, and one of the most perceptive foreign observers of India, died at a private hospital in Delhi today. He was 90 years of age. Tully had been unwell for quite some time and was admitted to Max Hospital in Saket on the 21st of January. A hospital source has said that he was undergoing treatment under the nephrology department. This is the information that we are getting right now. Mark Tully, no more, Calcutta-born British Indian journalist, dies at the age of 90. This is the latest information that we're getting right now from what we do know so far, that he was admitted to Max Hospital in Saket on the 21st of January. This is the information that we're getting from our sources right now, that he was getting treatment under the nephrology department. Veteran journalist Mark Tully passes away at 90. For more on this, we have Pallavi live with us. Pallavi, thank you so much for joining me. Of course, this is this tragic news that's just coming in. Mark Tully no longer with us.
That's right. Mark Tully was the BBC bureau chief and for over 2 decades stationed in Delhi. He's also been known to break mega stories. I think one of the first or the biggest ones he did was that on Operation Blue Star. More than that, he really did have a rough-in, not just with his bosses, but also with the Congress government at the center. In fact, it was during the emergency years when he wanted to come and report on it. He was not given the permission to come down to Delhi and to report on the emergency years. And after that, things were never always very sane between him and the Congress government. But then, because he's been a towering personality, he has been a big figure, written books on multiple issues, and someone who understood not just Indian, but also the South Asian politics, India and the surrounding areas, whether it's Pakistan, Bangladesh, all big stories. You say he had it. And he, of course, was excellent when he would speak in Hindi as well, given the number of years that he spent here. He was a bit of a maverick. He was someone who was considered always to have his very strong point of view, which often brought him in a confrontation with his own organization. But Mark Tully will always leave his mark as one of the most brightest and one of the one of the most powerful journalists of his times, not just relevant to India, but of course to his home country, Britain as well, and across the world as well.
Absolutely, as you mentioned, Pallavi, of course, many of his storied dispatches from India, that's what he's truly known for from the capital. His coverage is journalism, and that is something that is, of course, going to be remembered going forward for generations to come as well, Pallavi.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, I remember when we were just into this profession, many of us would have those multiple interactions with him, very down to earth, very interactive. And he had his own style of getting information. I mean, if I'm talking about Operation Blue Star, emergency, the Rajiv Gandhi government, the Bofors scandal, all of that, he had a very, very strong point of view, and he was known to break all these kind of stories. And all of this was reflected in the multiple books that he wrote. So in that sense, Mark Tully is one of its kinds. He's an old style kind of a journalist, very comfortable with television, of course, print writer, and a very prolific writer as well. And today, he's going to be remembered not just as a former BBC chief in India, but also as someone who understood the complicated and the various political nuances in a very complicated political structuring of India as well. I mean, there are multiple languages that were spoken here, different cultures from north to south, from east to west. And he managed to get a grip of that because, as I said, I mean, he lived for over 2 decades, really, more than 2 decades, if I would say, in India, and he made it his home.
Right. Well, Pallavi, thank you so much for your insights on this as well there. And Mark Tully dies at the age of 90.